So we'll get started. So we're here to talk about the audit solution. How many guys here, how many of you are familiar with auditing in Microsoft 365? Oh, I see a fair number. That's good. Okay. So I'm one of the folks who was responsible for moving SharePoint into the cloud back about 7, 8, 9 years ago. And when we moved SharePoint originally, and this is true for the rest of Office 365, we were pretty naive about it. We were just thinking about standing up a productivity suite in the cloud, and we didn't really have much of an idea of what it was that customers really needed to do outside of those productivity tools. But we learned pretty quickly. There was a lot of security needs, compliance needs, legal needs, and if you've heard a lot of the sessions that we've been doing in the compliance area over the last few days, you'll be aware that we've been focusing heavily on building out our suite of security tools and compliance tools, and audit is no exception. It's so foundational, so fundamental for everything that we do in the Security and Compliance Center that we've been continuing to invest heavily into that capability. And so what I'm going to do in this session is talk to you about how it's being used, what customers are looking to do with it, what are some of the pain points they've been experiencing and talking to us about, and then what we're doing, where our new investments are, what our roadmap looks like to address those pain points. And I'll be making a few announcements of some new features in the auditing area. So with that, let's get going. So the first thing is, I just want to tell you that auditing in Office 365 is huge. It's one of our largest used features. We have over 1,500 events. We get about 60 million searches of user activities every day. We have about 15 billion records that are being processed every day. So you can imagine the scale at which we need to operate this thing. It's literally one of our largest services. So we've done a lot of things that we feel good about. So we've managed to provide you guys with a consistent audit experience across Office 365. So you don't need to go separately hunting for activity logs for SharePoint or for Exchange or for any of the new workloads. It's all there in one place. We've also provided a very consistent audit log search experience. If you want to look through the audit logs to see who is doing what, we've done that. We've added not just user activities, but also admin activities. If you're using some of our advanced capabilities like customer logbox, we also log what a Microsoft engineer might have done with your data if you have that capability. And then what we've also done is we've provided APIs and integrations to other tools, whether it's to your own custom SIEM tools and also to our own first-party SIEM tools, and I'll show some of that. So this is what customers are trying to do. So over the last few years, we've seen a lot of usage of these audit logs in kind of reporting capabilities. If you're an IT admin, you're trying to understand who's using what features or what capabilities. We've seen a lot of that usage. But now we're seeing that customers want to do more with these activity logs. So they want to do things like identity protection, make sure that the users are protected wherever they are, however they access this service. Information protection, they want to know that sensitive content is not being leaked or shared externally. They want to know for regulatory or compliance purposes how things are. Like we had a discussion with a European customer yesterday, and what he's looking to do is be able to certify to his local government that the services that they offer aren't being used in a way that's against the compliance regulations there. And lastly, we see a lot of security usage. So if you're doing a post-breach impact assessment or just trying to understand, if there's a attacker inside your environment, the audit logs are, essential for that purpose. But if you think about each of these 4 areas, whether it's identity protection, it's information protection, post-breach impact assessment, or regulatory compliance, there's a set of things you need to know. So you need to know who accessed what, when, and how across all of the different Microsoft 365 services. You want visibility into changes of policies or memberships, who was a member of what distribution group or team site when. You need to be able to investigate what a person was doing inside of the environment and kind of dig around into that. You need to prepare evidence for a government agency or anybody else who's auditing you. And when you try to do all of those things, you're essentially trying to answer a set of questions. And those questions generally revolve around 4 things. So it's either pivoted on a user, what was this user doing, or it's pivoted on a document, how was this document shared, who accessed it. Imagine that your earnings report got leaked and you want to know how it was kind of spread within your company. So that would be pivoted on a document. It might be pivoted around a location or a folder, who had access to this SharePoint site or this Teams site. Maybe there's an investigation that's going on into how the earnings report was leaked. I need to know who was a member of that site, let's say 6 months ago. And finally, at a device level, you want to know what the state of a device was at a given time. So what we did was we started writing down the list of all of the different things that either security investigators or legal investigators are trying to do with the audit log. So these are just a list of common questions that they're trying to answer. And the thing is, if you're trying to answer these questions, it's really hard to do that today with the audit logs and the set of pain points. And the pain points are, first of all, the events that we provide, they're very good for things like reporting and kind of IT purposes, but they don't do as good a job of helping you answer all of those questions. There's some missing events that you might need. So some good examples are if somebody's breached your environment and you want to understand what he's been doing inside your tenant, you need to see, like, for example, if he's been running searches and if he's been searching through your tenant, what he's been searching for. So we've never had the capability to audit the search terms themselves. We could show you that somebody was searching, but not what they were searching for. Looking at mail items, if you want to know who's read what, you wouldn't be able to do that because that wasn't being audited. And that's important because if, say again, if the earnings report was leaked, and let's say there's a mail that was sent out, you need to know who actually opened that mail and was privy to that information that was shared. And there's a whole bunch of these other kind of events that were missing from the audit logs. The second pain point that we hear consistently is that it's really hard to derive insights from our audit logs. They're just basically a stream of raw events. You need to put that in a different system, and then in that system you need to kind of correlate and draw insights, but that's expensive, that's time consuming, that's not easy to set up. And so we were asked to do more in this area. And the last thing was just how long these audit logs are retained. So our retention for audit logs is 90 days. And most investigations go much longer than that. And so typical investigations can go 6 months, a year, sometimes even longer. And so these are all the reasons that kind of prevented customers from answering those questions that I showed you. And so this is what we're doing about it. So we're announcing a new capability in Microsoft 365 that we call Advanced Audit. So you can imagine that this Advanced Audit builds upon what we've already shipped with our M365 auditing feature and extends it in 4 key ways. So first of all, we're adding more high-value events, and specifically events that are needed to answer security and compliance investigations that go beyond just IT reporting. The second thing that we're starting to add is processed insights. So that way, based on the audit logs, we're going to tell you for those kinds of common questions what we know by analyzing the logs. The third is a longer retention, longer than the 90 days we've traditionally had, so you can meet your needs for your investigations. And the fourth is, if you are trying to get the logs out of our service into some other system, we're giving you a faster pipe, more bandwidth, kind of a quicker way to get those logs out. So what I'm going to do is for each of these 4 things, I'm going to give you a little more detail so you understand what we're doing here. So let's talk about the high-value events first. So we're going to, the first 2 events that are lighting up in the advanced audit capability are mail reads and search terms. And I'll show that in the demo in a short while. What are the, so we're not just the events, but also the context for those events. We're adding more events when we release it to you. We expect we'll have a bunch of events around Teams, but we're going to finalize that list in the next few weeks, and this is going to go public preview by the end of the year. The The next thing is around the processed insights, where we're adding correlations and kind of what we call canned queries or pre-built queries on top of the logs. So this is, again, something we haven't finalized the list for. So we're giving you kind of a sneak preview. But the first set of these pre-built queries are going to be available at the end of the year. The longer-term retention is something that we've started rolling out right now. And so it gives you two things. One is it gives you a way to customize the retention. I'll show that in the demo, but you can create retention policies on your audit logs, and you can extend the retention up to a year, so up to 365 days. And that is, as I said, it's rolling out right now. And you can customize the retention based on either users or by events. And then the fourth is the faster bandwidth, or the faster pipe for the audit logs. So you can think of it as a kind of as a rough idea that if you're a user of the advanced audit capability, you'll get about twice the bandwidth of a regular audit capability. So that's the difference between advanced audit and basic audit. So you have higher limits, higher throttling limits, and it's much, much faster. So with that, I'm going to switch to my demo. I'm going to show you two demo scenarios. One is I'm going to show you an integrated demo in a SIM tool. So this is where an employee might have got a phishing email. The phishing email was exploited by an attacker, and the credentials, the admin needs to investigate kind of what that person was doing in the environment and use the audit logs for that. Now, this demo, we wanted to show you an integration into Sentinel, which is our first-party SIM, and you'll see that. But you can imagine that everything I'll show you in Sentinel will also be possible in any other SIM. We're not trying to differentiate between our first-party SIM versus another one. And the second demo that I'll show you after this is what you can do inside the Security and Compliance Center. So imagine two demos, one inside a SIM and one inside the Security Compliance Center. So let's start with this one. Okay, so this is Sentinel. How many folks in the room are familiar with Sentinel? Okay. I think there's some kind of security alert going on. Okay. That wasn't from Sentinel, I can assure you. But I see not a lot of you are very familiar. It doesn't really matter. I think most of these capabilities are pretty standard out of a SIM, so as I walk you through this, you can kind of translate that. If you use Splunk or some other tool, you'd better translate that into what you're used to. So this just shows you a view of events over time. And the way that Sentinel is configured is that you can configure connectors from various sources. So as you can see, we have an out-of-the-box connector for Office 365, and there's a lot of other connectors. But the Office 365 connector will give you both the basic events as well as the richer, more the advanced events. And you can see that it shows you when the last time you synced up between Office 365 and Sentinel. So that's there. And the next thing you can do is if you go to this Logs tab, you can start creating these queries. So for the logs that you've ingested out of Office 365, you can start searching for things. So I'm going to show you first a set of manual queries that you might do, and then I'll show you the hunting capability where you might turn some of these queries into out-of-the-box alerts where the system automatically searches for you. But with this manual query, the first one is a very basic one. It's just the sign-in log, so nothing very fancy here. Here, the user we're investigating is Adele. We suspect that Adele's credentials were used after she got phished. And just looking at the logs here for sign-in activity, you can see that the location where she signed in from, that's the third column. You can see that most of these are US, but then suddenly you see that change to Netherlands. So you know that based on the logs that you're seeing right now in Sentinel, that somebody did log in from an unexpected location. And you can check with Adele whether she was in the Netherlands at the time, and if she wasn't, you know that this looks like a breach. So the next thing you might want to do is you might want to see what this person was doing with Adele's credentials. And so here we're showing you an example of one of these more advanced events that we're shipping with the new audit, the premium audit capability. And this one is around what searches were being done. And so here you can see that this user performed 3 searches, and so if you drill into any one of these searches, it'll show you what search term was being used. So for example, you can see that in this case, it was a search for SharePoint on Project Redwood, which might be some kind of confidential project that you guys are working on. If you look at the next one, you can see that this is also a search on SharePoint, and this person was looking for the FY20 strategy memo, and that sounds really important. So he's looking at more, like some of your more important assets, and the last one is also a SharePoint and searching for the Contoso acquisition proposal. So you can make a judgment call on how serious or how important this breach is and what your appropriate response needs to be. The next thing you can do is I'm showing you a second query. I'm still in the logs section, so if I expand this, you can see I'm still in logs. I'm just showing you some more real estate. So here what I'm doing is I'm looking for the mail item accessed event, and you can see that the attacker has accessed 3 of Adele's emails. And so if you look down, you can get information on this, and it shows you what item was accessed to the mailbox level, to the item level. And then what you can go and do is, so Sentinel doesn't have the capability to show you content, but you can use a tool in Office 365 like eDiscovery or Content Search to go look for that item and understand what items are actually being read by that user, by that attacker. So that's the second query. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to the hunting section. So if you look on the left, you can see that I've expanded the hunting tab, and you can see that there are 2 queries that have been set up here. I've set them up as favorites. So the first one is what are the users that have been, or what are the high frequency searches that happened in the past 2 weeks? If there's somebody who's searching a lot in ways that you would normally not expect, and you can set the threshold, then you can set an alert for this. This is just an example. And the second example that we have configured here is if this SharePoint activity is happening from an unknown client IP. So our previously unseen client IP, then we've set up an alert for that. So the way that you set that up is just like the regular log query scenario. You create a query, and then what you do is you can create an Azure Sentinel alert based off of that. And so in here, I'm just looking for file downloaded and file uploaded events from SharePoint, and I'm checking to see the volume of events that occurred, and then the alert gets fired off of that. And the last one is the search query, high volume or high frequency of search queries are being performed, and so I've set up another alert from that. Just like I showed you before, I can create an Azure Sentinel alert. So this shows you out-of-the-box integration of the Office 365 auditing in Azure Sentinel. Again, it can work with any SIM tool. We're just showing you our first-party tool, but if you're using some other tool, it'll work just as well. The other thing that I showed you in this first demo is just how some of these new events are being used and can be used for some of these investigative scenarios. So with that, I'm going to kind of switch back and then show you the second demo. And in the second demo, I'm going to show you more of a traditional data leak investigation using audit. And in this scenario, you can think of this more potentially as a legal or an internal investigation. But in this scenario, let's say that a highly confidential document got leaked. Let's say it's the earnings report. And what you need to do is, first of all, you know the document that was leaked, but you don't know who leaked it. So that's what you're trying to find out. And so what you need to do is you need to go from the content that was leaked and identify the person who potentially could have leaked it. And then once you've identified a set of candidates, you need to narrow down into the person who actually did that leaking. And then you can take from that person, you can expand out to see what else this person was up to, if there's anything else that maybe you haven't yet realized. Maybe there's some other data that he or she was leaking. So imagine you're going from content to a person, and then from that person back to additional sources of content. So I'm going to show you this demo, not in Sentinel, and I'm going to show you this in the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. So let me flip over. And so here, because we're starting with content first, what I've done is I've opened an investigative case for the financial and earnings report. And what I can do is I can create a tenant-wide search for the content that was leaked. In this case, it was an earnings report. And so I can say search across all of SharePoint, all of Exchange, and tell me where that document was. So that gives you an idea of all of the locations inside Office 365 where that sensitive document is located. And now you can start from those documents, you can start digging into who had access to that. And the way you do that is by moving that content into our review tool. And what the review tool will do is let you kind of search through that content. Here what I've done is I've searched for emails where the document was shared. And so if I look at any one of these, I can see that there's an email that was sent. It was sent by Megan Brown, and there's an attachment. And you can see that all of these emails were all sent by Megan Brown. And they all have this document. The sensitive document is an attachment. And in all cases, they were sent to these two folks. So if I look at this email again, they were sent to Adele and Alex. So that immediately narrows down to Adele Vance and Alex Wilbur. So now from that content, I've identified a set of people that I should go back and investigate further. The next thing I can do is I can go ahead and just take a look at what this document is. If I now search for the document itself, I can go in and I can see that it was available to these two folks, Adele and Alex, and this is a SharePoint site. So if I want to go in, I can look at the document. It's probably not going to be very interesting, but it's the document that you're looking for. So now that I've identified all of those places where the document was located, I've identified the people who had access to the document. Now I want to start looking at the behavior and the activities. And so now I've gone to the audit log search, and what I've done is I plugged that document in. So the one I found in the content search, so it says the contents of earnings confidential docx. I'm looking for all activities around that document that occurred in this time range. And you can see right away that of those two people that had access to it, one person shows a lot of activities, and that's Alex. And most importantly, he downloaded the file. And so that gives me an indicator that Alex is potentially the person that we should go investigate further. So with that, I can now, what I'm doing is I'm looking specifically for Alex. I'm seeing what other suspicious activities he did. And now I'm looking for that search, the same search query that I showed you before, to see what Alex is searching for. And if I look at that search, it will, oh, sorry, I'm just looking at the user. So, yeah, so here, now what I'm doing is I can see the search terms that show me again the same information that I saw in Sentinel, that Alex searched SharePoint for the FY20 strategy memo. So you can see that this, I'm doing a similar kind of investigation. I've gone from content to a user, and now to this user's activities, and now I'm expanding out to see what else might have been leaked further. So now you know that Alex was looking for this other document that wasn't part of my original investigation. So I can go back and I can now look for that document and see what Alex did with this. And then now that I know that Alex is risky, I can essentially go in and I can add a new retention policy. So I said we extended the retention up to 12 months. And so here what I'm doing is I'm saying this person is now under an investigation, and so I want to retain his logs for up to 12 months. And this is Alex. I can refine that if I want, but in this case I want all of his activities, and so I'll just pick those. So that was my second demo. The only other thing I want to show you here is just a quick call out that the experience I showed is in the Microsoft 360, in the Office 365 experience, but this is the new Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, and you can see that this is the solution catalog, and so everything that I showed you here around auditing and around e-discovery and all of those solutions are available here. And so if I were to open up one of these experiences, I'd see something that looks a lot more fresh and modern, and so this is the new experience. So with that, that's the second of my demos. I'm going to switch back and just kind of walk you through what I showed you as a recap. And so what I showed you was that we're announcing a new advanced auditing capability. It has new high-value events that we've never been able to provide before. It has a longer retention that goes from 90 days to a year. We're going to provide you with out-of-the-box insights. So for common types of investigations, you'll get these pre-built queries that you can use to answer questions. And you'll get a much faster access to data than you had before. We also showed you SIM integration with our first-party SIM, Sentinel, but you can use the same integration with any other SIM. And that means that you have a much broader coverage of Microsoft 365 services. You can answer a lot more of these questions that you might need to do. You can start using these as an investigative tool, an investigative capability, and use audit not just as a reporting, not just for reporting purposes. And so with that, I'm going to kind of open the floor for any questions that you guys might have. These are some of the questions that we're looking for. So as we kind of add more events, more pre-built queries, we're looking for feedback from all of you, questions. So if there's certain event types that you'd like to see, if there's certain types of investigations that you'd like us to enable, please let us know, and we're all ears. So with that, I'll open the floor to questions. Sure. Is
this coming to Government Community Cloud, GCC, FedRAMP?
It will come to the government clouds. Lingua, do you know the date? Do we have a date for that? Okay, so I guess we don't have a date yet, but it will definitely come. Yeah, so the question is around devices. So if you remember, at the beginning I showed you 3 pivots. I showed you the user pivot, the location pivot, and the document pivot, and I talked about a 4th one, devices. So what we're starting to do, and we couldn't show it yet, is we're starting to add audit events from devices. If you're using the Microsoft Defender ATP, some of those events are flowing into our pipeline as well, and will be available. But we don't have a date for that yet. Having to jump back and forth. Yeah. Yes, so the question is, do you guys have a plan to integrate some of this e-discovery, content management, case management, investigation capability with the audit log capability? So we've actually started doing that. So if you go into an e-discovery case and you add a user, you can actually look for what that user was up to. So if you imagine that there's a user pivot that's been built in, but we're looking to do more of that integration work. It's something that we're looking at very, very deeply, but we don't have a date to share right now, but the directionally answer is yes. Oh yeah. So I didn't say it, but you could guess. I think the advanced auditing capability is going to be either it'll require the compliance add-on or an E5 license. So if you get an E5 license or the compliance add-on, you get all of that. This is one of the most expensive services that for us to run, and so going from 90 days to a year, that's a huge amount of cost. It just is not feasible to do that on an E3 license. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your question. Oh, so the question is it possible to do it via PowerShell? Yeah, we have APIs for everything. You can use the same APIs to export the events, yes. Okay. Yes, question? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Do you want to use the mic? Yes. So No, it will not. We actually tried to roll it out. We ran into technical difficulties with the volume of the events. We made the call that we won't be able to offer that as an E3 service. It's just not, for certain reasons I don't want to get into, we can't do that. No, we had a lot of discussion on this. For various technical reasons, we can't do that. Yes. Like we know that's not a great answer, but and this is something that has been debated internally within our engineering team. We can't offer that as an E3 event. The volume of events is too large. You could still use Sentinel, but you won't get that event. That's correct. Okay. Any other questions? Sure.
So if you have your help desk team has certain permissions, certain exchange permissions, and you want to be able to have a high level of auditing to what they did, I provide you that, or is it just going to provide you the same level of auditing that you get right now in exchange, which is get to piece together things that you figure out what they were trying to do?
So the question is, let's say you're trying to understand what your Exchange admin is up to, and you have to piece together various events. Is there some way that you can provide us with an easier way to answer that question? So the answer directionally is yes. So as I said, we're adding more high-value events, and so you'll get more detailed information. And we're adding these pre-built queries, so you can answer more of these questions where we've done some of those analytics behind the scenes for you. I don't believe that's going to be in what we ship by the end of the year, but as we kind of add more events and more of these pre-built queries, I expect that that'll be kind of a high-value scenario because a lot of our customers ask for just watch the watcher. What's the admin doing? Yeah.
And as far as the PowerShell goes too, any commands run by user?
Yeah, anything that we offer through the UI will also be available through our APIs. Yeah, go ahead. So the question is, when I showed the demo, I searched for the document name, and so the question was, can you search for something that's more unique inside the audit log search? So not today, no. Now it's based on the document name of the location. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So instead of the document name, how about a link? Because we're not obviously sharing attachments as much as we used to.
So the question is, can you follow the links when you run a search? So not yet, but that's actually something we're working on. That's a fairly important scenario for us. But I'm not going to share a date because this is going to take a while. But it's something that we're absolutely working on. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. So the question is, I mentioned that cost is one of the factors. Why is that not a double dip? Because you're paying for Sentinel as well. So the answer is cost is just one of those. Storage is just one of those costs. So if you look at the features I mentioned, there's certainly storage. There's the processing that it takes for us to kind of answer some of these pre-built queries. And the third is basically the bandwidth cost as well to move data at high scale. So as an example, we just looked at one of these queries, which is all of the activities that happen on a document. So if you think about that, it sounds very easy. But when you ran that inside of Microsoft, just for one tenant, it took 25 minutes to complete. So just to answer that one question, we need to build a special index just for that one thing. So you can imagine that this capability is like really, It's a very complicated one. It's a very expensive one. The output of this is very easy. You ask a question, you get an answer. But it isn't possible for software. This is an E3 service. It's just not. The cost structure won't support it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys.